This is the story of Katelin Akens, a young woman with a bright future, a loving family, and a life that should have never ended the way it did, if it ended at all. Her disappearance shook Virginia, and left behind a trail of disturbing questions, most of them pointing toward one man, her former stepfather. But despite all the signs, no charges have ever been filed. What really happened to Katelin Akens? And how does someone just vanish into thin air, without a trace? Katelin Michelle Akens was 19 years old, full of life, outgoing, ambitious. She had just graduated high school and was ready to chase her dreams. Her passion, cosmetology. She'd been accepted into a beauty school in Arizona, even moved there with her fiancé. Life was finally falling into place. In December 2015, Katelin flew back to her hometown, Spotsylvania County, Virginia. She was there to attend her younger sister's graduation and spend time with her mom, Lisa Sullivan. Her return flight back to Arizona, booked for December 5th, but she never made it onto that plane. That morning, Katelin's mom had to work, so she asked her ex-husband, Katelin's former stepfather, James Branton, to drive Katelin to Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. He agreed. Katelin had stayed at his house the night before. The plan was simple: drop her off, say goodbye, fly home. But at around 1:52 p.m., Lisa got a strange text from Katelin's phone. It read, "I'm at the airport, phone dying so won't be able to text for a bit." That was the last message anyone ever received from her. Hours later, everything changed. Katelin's suitcase was found dumped in a ditch off River Road in Fredericksburg, far from the airport. Inside, her clothes, makeup, shoes, but missing, her phone, her wallet, her plane ticket, and her ID, gone. When investigators spoke to James Branton, his story started to shift. First, he said he dropped her off at the Springfield metro station, not the airport. He claimed Katelin wanted to take the train to save money. But Lisa pushed back hard. Katelin hated public transportation. She'd never once mentioned changing plans. Then, Branton's timeline started changing. First, he said the drop-off was at 1 p.m. Then it was closer to 11 a.m. Details kept sliding around. But the most disturbing piece: his cell phone pinged in the exact area where Katelin's suitcase was found. Hours after he claimed to have dropped her off. Why? Why didn't he mention going there? Why was the suitcase there, without her ID, without her phone? Why is the last known person to see her alive so unreliable? Reddit jumped on the case. In threads on r true crime and r unresolved mysteries, users combed through timelines, interviews, and public records. One comment stood out: greater than, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, this guy is shady as hell. Another Redditor traced the cell phone pings, concluding that Branton had time to dump the suitcase and get back home, undetected. Then, there were deeper rumors. Katelin's friends told police she'd felt uncomfortable around him. There were even whispers of inappropriate comments. Unconfirmed, but enough to raise eyebrows online. Despite all this, there's still no arrest. Why? Because there's no body, no witnesses, and no direct forensic evidence tying anyone to a crime. Just a suitcase in a ditch, a phone that went dark, and a man with a story that changes every time he tells it. In 2021, 6 years after Katelin disappeared, the FBI officially joined the investigation. Her case was listed on the National Missing Persons Database. Searches resumed, tips were collected, but still, no breakthroughs. Her mother, Lisa, never stopped fighting. She's become her daughter's voice, posting updates, pushing for answers, begging for someone to come forward. In one interview, she said, "Greater than, I feel in my heart she was taken. She would never just leave." One detail haunts her: Katelin had asked her to take her to the airport that morning. Said she felt weird about something. But Lisa had to work. And that moment, that choice, still echoes in her mind every day. This case feels like it should be solved. We know who the last person to see her was. We have a cell phone ping. We have a dumped suitcase. And a deeply suspicious alibi. And yet, 10 years later, Katelin is still missing. What happened to her that day? Did she ever make it out of town? Did someone close to her betray her trust? Was her story covered up, erased, and left to rot? Some people think it's obvious. Others believe something darker is hiding beneath the surface. There are theories about trafficking, a staged disappearance, even suicide, but none of those theories hold weight without evidence. And the simplest answer is still the most disturbing. Until we get answers, we must keep Katelin's name alive. Because behind the headlines, behind the Reddit threads, behind the unsolved mystery, is a real person, a daughter, a sister, a fiancée, a young woman who deserved so much more. If you have any information about the disappearance of Katelin Akens, even the smallest detail, please contact the Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office or the FBI tip line. You might be the missing puzzle piece. And now, we turn it over to you. What do you think happened to Katelin? Let us know in the comments below. And if you believe in keeping these stories alive, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your voice helps amplify hers. And that might be all it takes.